Russian President Vladimir Putin has appointed his new cabinet, and not much change happened, but a lot of speculation is there for changing of Defense Minister. Now there's an economist, and some people are saying it's a demotion of the the former defense minister for bad performance in Ukraine. Some are saying it's actually the elevation to Security Council, and since Russia is running a war economy now, it's good to have an economist running a defense department to reduce the expenses, unnecessary expenses, and to control the spending. And we'll discuss this in the second part of the video. But first, let's try to understand how Russian government is formed, how Russia is governed, and how Russian president is going to select his colleagues. So I have described a small, how to say, diagram, not diagram, text format. And there are three pillars of Russian government, three main pillars, which I understood based on my understanding of studying of Russia for several years. So first is president. As you know, Mr. Putin has just took an oath for the fifth time for 6 years. The president is selected for 6 years, and he is selected through voting across the Russia. And I think that's what it pretty much says. And then this called State Duma and Federation Council. These forms of parliament, like we have in India, Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. So State Duma is it's the lower house, just like Lok Sabha. Its members are uh, membership for 5 years, and it happens through voting. People of Russia vote, so they have 450 seats, and Russia is divided based on population of Russia. It's divided into 225 constituencies. Like we have Lok Sabha constituencies in India, Russia has 225 constituencies, and there is an interesting thing about Russia that they use the proportional system voting. What does it mean? It means that you can either vote for the party or you can vote for the candidate. Once all the votes are polled, they are being counted. And based on the number of votes, percentage of votes each party obtain in this election, in that proportion, they get seats out of 450 in State Duma. However, there is a major rule. There is a rule that any party which wants to have seats in State Duma needs to have 7% threshold. So it's more like if you are an independent candidate, I don't think you have any chance to go to State Duma unless you are supported. So if there are 100 votes and if your party does receive only 5% across Russia, you will not get a seat in State Duma. So this is pretty much summarizes how State Duma functions. The members of State Duma are called deputies, and in the last election, out of 450 seats, Mr. Putin's party, United Russia, received something around 51% votes. So they got something around 230 plus seats, not much. Simple majority, and this is pretty much about State Duma. This is how State Duma works, function, and next is Federation Council. It's also the upper house, just like Rajya Sabha we have in India. It also has tenure of 5 years, not more than that, 5 years. And unlike State Duma, where people are elected by the people's voting, people here are nominated. Federation Council has people all nominated, and these people can be nominated by governor of the region, president, or you can also nominate yourself. I will tell you in a minute what does it mean. So it has 178 seats. 178 seats. Previously, it used to have 170 seats, but now in a Ukraine conflict, Russia annexed or absorbed or liberated, whichever way you want to call it, four more regions. So they got eight more seats. So Russia got now 89 regions, like 85 plus 4 regions, city state or autonomous regions, 85 regions, 89 sorry, 85 previously, 89 now, and each region sent two members to Federation Council. Those members are called senators. So each region sent two senators, so 175, double of regions. And these people, those senators, they can be appointed, nominated by the governor of the region or the president himself. There is a limit of how many people the president can nominate. Same for governor, same for other people. And if you are an individual who is doing a wonderful job, if you're a businessman who is like creating a lot of jobs in the region, or you're a social activist who has like fought against some social evil, or you're a doctor who has treated a lot of people, you can just write a letter nominating yourself, saying that I did the good thing in this region. I deserve to represent these people in Federation Council. He can write letter to President, State Duma, or Federation Council, and there are some procedures to checks and balances how a person can become Federation Council senator, and after that you can be actually a senator. So there's a limit, and anyone can nominate and all those things. So the Federation Council is the upper house, State Duma is the lower house, and the system, the way Russia functions. President is the most powerful. This is how the constitution defines the role of president. However, in some cases, State Duma and Federation Council together can actually remove the president. If they come together and there's some ambiguity the way president is functioning, they can remove the president, and president can anytime dissolve State Duma and Federation Council. Remember, president is the most powerful, so he can dissolve State Duma and Federation Council and call for new elections or new Federation Council. And State Duma and they together too can remove the president, something like this. And both have different functions. Both State Duma and Federation Council have different functions, and the way they pass the bills, they bring legislations. And one important aspect of both State Duma and Federation Council deputies or senators is that it's a full-time kind of job. If somebody becomes a deputy or senator, he cannot hold any other position as per the constitution. This is what written. So this is very much how the Russian government functions. As you may have seen, that the president is the most powerful person in the Russian Federation and in the Russian government. But how does government is formed, and how does the Russian government functions? We'll just try to understand how things change. So, president, after being elected, he nominates the prime minister. He nominates the prime minister, and the prime minister actually is running the government. President is the head, but it's the prime minister which it's going to run the cabinet, and prime minister also appoints deputy prime ministers and cabinet ministers in consultation with president. That's what the theory is. And if you see the structure you have, the the president is actually out of the government. It's not in part of the government. The government is prime minister, deputy prime minister, and cabinet ministers, but still is the most powerful, and he nominate. So a prime minister is nominated by president to Duma and the Federation Council in some cases for some appointments, and the deputy prime ministers and cabinet ministers. And the Duma and Federation Council confirm those appointments. After confirming those appointments, the government is formed, and the structure of government is very similar. Prime minister, one prime minister, and then there are deputy prime minister. They can be compared like minister of state in India. They have different portfolios like finance, deputy prime minister for finance, deputy prime minister for defense, deputy prime minister for some XYZ. And then there are cabinet ministers, actual cabinet ministers like defense minister, foreign minister, agriculture minister, transport ministers, and there's deputy prime ministers report to prime ministers, and cabinet ministers are kind of same level of prime minister, you can say, the way I understood. To me, it seems that all of them actually comes under president, and cabinet ministers can have same uh, kind of ranking as prime minister, but prime minister is the most powerful after president. So all of them report to prime minister in theory, and the deputy prime ministers also report to prime minister, and this is the cabinet of the president, and they support president in forming new laws, legislations, or making the course of the future of the country in and presenting things in the State Duma and the Federation Councils. So this is the staff, and what kind of change happened? as you might be reading in Russia. The previous defense minister, Mr. Sergei Shoigu, was a cabinet minister. He was part of the cabinet, and the and he is moved. He is moved to Security Council. He is moved to Security Council, and one of the deputy prime minister of finance, Mr. Andrei Belousov, is made a cabinet minister. So he is moved from deputy prime minister of finance to become a cabinet minister. Same kind of same kind of cabinet, not much changes. So this is how one cabinet forms. And as I said, president is the most powerful person in the Russian Federation. He got a separate sort of staff, a different thing. He's part of separate, uh, um, how to say, uh, institutions. So a president got presidential staff. It got press secretary, legal advisors, um, or maybe a defense attaché or KGB, or sorry, not KGB, or security spy is the chief, or a nuclear thing chief. So they all report to president. And there comes Security Council. Security Council is the most powerful body these days in Russia. It contains prime minister, some cabinet minister like Minister of Defense, army chief, Reserve Bank chairman, as well as chairperson of State Duma, chairperson of Federation Council. All those important members, they are part of Security Council. So the previous defense minister, Mr. Sergei Shoigu, is now the secretary of Security Council. He was already a member in the past because being a defense minister, he was the member of Security Council. Now he is elevated to become the secretary. And the current secretary of the Security Council is made presidential advisor. So just a small reshuffle here and there, not much changes. Some new cabinet ministers are coming, but they are not really being focused upon, and we are not also focusing on them in this video. And there is another council called State Council. This is more like Niti Aayog of India. President is the chairperson of all these how to say institutions. State Council is like a what is a body of regions or the state of Russia, in working in conjugation with federation or the central level. So central level the run by president, state council. State council is the where governors are member and president is the chief. It works to collaborate or coordinate the works on done by central or state level or for any other issues. So this is nutshell. You can see this how the government forms in Russia, how the government runs. It's more of confusion sometimes because this is very much a complete new structure. President is very much can overrule everything. He's a powerful and he appoints, and the government is run by other people. President just appoints them. He is head of the government, but he is out of the government. This is how I understood the way the government functions in Russia. It may be the way it works for us. It may be confusing because we are used to different systems, but this is how it is. So if you like this video, please share it with others. And if you want to learn Russian through Hindi, you can click on the description below. There is a link of the playlist. And if you want to know more about Russia or what more things you want to know about Russia, please write in comment box. And if I made a mistake in understanding the Russian governance structure, you can also point out the mistakes in the comment below. So till that, the next video, До свидания, пока.